So let me get this thingy up. Alright, so let's start. Welcome everyone, this is Nsfw, episode something.
Do we ever keep track of these things?
Oh no, I don't. So, sorry we missed last week. Vince and I have kids. Don't know what Matt's excuse is.
It's like pet hamsters or something, man.
You can get in contact with us at info@neversafeforwork.com. Twitter, Matt is MTWB. Vince is VWHUI. I'm Ricky_Williams1. And as well, you can always catch me on Tumblr at madtechR.tumblr.com. So, do anything cool this week, Vince?
No, because my whole family got the flu except for me, so apparently my mutant healing abilities have made me basically the house's maid, chauffeur, and everything else. So
yeah, I know that feeling.
Well, no, because I haven't been to work since like last Friday, so I don't know. I don't know. Like all hell's breaking loose in the university. I don't know. But you know what I found out though? Like I have got the PlayStation TV, and man, it is a great thing because when you've got to be upstairs with all the kids and all and you know the wife and stuff just to make sure you can hear them when they call for help. The PlayStation TV, it lets you basically stream your PS4 to your other TVs, and man, it is a godsend.
That's pretty cool.
Like, I mean, mind you, I think you have to have like a decent, like your PS4 has to be wired connection.
Yeah.
Everything. But I have my PS TV is just a Wi-Fi connection, and I'm playing Diablo 3 and everything, and it's a little bit of lag, but I mean, it's not like I'm playing Street Fighter or something, so it's not bad. Yeah. So that's my deal. How about you, man?
Okay. No, not much really. I mean, just working on my personal blog. So that's www.madtechR.com. Doing the Tumblr thing, and otherwise from that, just all the normal kind of stuff. So
it's called work, I think.
Why don't we jump into it? Because
all right.
Knock this out. So this week we're going to be talking about The Equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
Since that was your choice, why don't you go ahead and tell us all about it?
Okay, so everyone always knocks me for not picking movies that are like just stupid fun. Like, I mean, give me a break. I mean, yes, I like to have like an intellectual layer on movies, but I mean, this movie was just one of those like, you know, action movies, and it's basically what you would imagine to be. You watch the trailer, you know what it is. It's basically Denzel Washington is the black Liam Neeson. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's like the older, kind of mature guy that will kick your ass and have no reservations about it. And like, I mean, was there ever any point in the story where you're like, oh my god, I got to worry about Denzel? Like, I mean, realistically, at the end scene maybe, but I mean, no other point did you just like see a guy just totally beat the crap out of everyone from like thugs to cops to like Russian mafia people. I mean. He's the. Am I correct on this? Like, do you not see this? That he is the black Liam Neeson?
Yep.
Thank you very much. I was like, man, this is so overtly like, you know, like Fuqua's response to like, you know, Liam Neeson and in all the Taken movies. Anyhow, in a nutshell, the movie is. If you guys haven't seen the trailer, it came out a while ago. I think. I don't know. Like, did it come out like last year?
I think so. Okay. Yeah, that's what I would remember.
Anyways, the movie came out last year, and it's basically about a guy who's like ex-Black Ops, and that's played by Denzel Washington, and he's like all about, you know, honing his profession. Like you can clearly tell, not only was he Black Ops, but he was probably training them, because he's all about, you know, keeping a regiment and stuff like that. So he's kind of retired from that because something happened with his wife apparently. So what he did was he just made a promise to his wife that he wouldn't go back to that life of like, you know, killing people and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, he saw you know, what is her name? Not Kick-Ass Girl. What's her name?
I think it was Alina.
Yeah, but what's her name from the Kick-Ass movies?
Oh, I don't know that part.
But basically it's Chloe Moritz, whatever. She's the girl from from Kick-Ass, Hit Girl. Hit
Getting
Girl.
our
That's what it
ass
was.
kicked.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Except this time she's played as a kind of young prostitute who's been kind of sold into sexual slavery and stuff. Anyways, he befriends her while because they're both like I don't even know. Can you explain why he goes to the cafe to begin with? Like no, that's never made clear. But he apparently goes to like at 2 o'clock in the morning. He goes to like the local cafe, and he sees this girl, and he pretends that he doesn't think that she's a prostitute. Long story short, he gets involved in like taking out the mob, the Russian mob for doing this because they put her in the hospital, and then the Russian mafia decides to declare, that he's a bad guy, and everything from corrupt cops, everything goes down the pipe serendipitously at the same time. So lo and behold, Denzel Washington's character has to kick everyone's ass to prove a point, and he basically gets vindication by going. And this is like a little sidestep. It was just like give the guy some credibility to like say, yeah, it's okay to kill people. He meets like some CIA operatives, like some people clearly up in the ranks of like the CIA, and basically remember the line that was like he didn't come here to ask for permission, he came here to just tell you that he just give you heads up, right? And basically the people at the CIA are like, yep, go ahead, go kill people, do your thing. And he does that, and then at the end of the day, he kills the Russian mob boss in Russia, which is really kind of like anticlimactic. By electrocuting them, and then everyone it's all happy, and it's pretty much set up for a sequel, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah. Um,
Anyways, what's your call on it?
so yeah, I'll go on it. So basically, I think that he's probably going to that diner because the whole thing with his wife, right? So now his wife's gone. And he was the Black Ops dude. So it's more like it's showing that well, to me, it's showing that even though, like, because you see him at home and stuff, and he checks his watch to make you
Mhm.
see the time, and everything's, in its place and stuff like that. But I think it shows you that his wife was doing a separate part, right? So it's kind of like, he can't really cook dinner for himself or whatever, and plus he lives at home alone. So I think maybe it's also, like a place where he can kind of get some, interaction with other people, right?
Well,
But
if
at the
like
same, yeah, at the
but
same time,
listen, when he was at like, okay, first off, you saw him when he was at work. Like he was pretty cool. Like remember, who are you? And he's like, I'm one of the pips, right? And he's like,
yeah.
he starts doing dancing.
But I mean, that's
Clearly
the
got
thing.
social
He's
skills.
at
And then you're
work.
thinking at 2 o'clock in the morning, why do you go to the bar
Yeah,
at
but
that
that's the
hour?
thing, right? Because he doesn't have anything else to do, right? Like, he doesn't have his wife. Like he said, he made her a promise to read all those books. But besides that, remember, it's like when you think about football players, right? Like, all their life, like high school, they played football. College, they played
Hmm.
football. They go into the NFL. That's why when they get older and they retire, they don't know what to do with themselves, and they start because it's like, all your life you've been working out, playing
Hmm.
football, you don't have any hobbies outside that, and this is the same thing, right? Like he's been in the army training, like that's what he knows, right? So it's
Hmm.
not like
Okay.
he's gonna come out, he's gonna go to work, and then he's gonna go home and lay back in his lazy boy, and what I mean, like that's not the mode of who he is, right? But anyways, going on from that, I mean, I like this film because, like, I like a lot of Denzel Washington's film. Like,
I
he's one
think
of my
all three of
favorite
us like
actors.
all three of
Yeah,
us like him. I think.
but I think this is a little different because he is getting older, right? Like, and you can see the same sort of thing with Will Smith too, right? Like, if you look at his earlier films, right, like not where Denzel's an action hero, right? But I mean, it's the same thing. If you look at the earlier films, you can obviously tell that he's younger. He's, got that swagger. And now when you watch it, you can see the wrinkles, you can see the gray hair, and so the story goes along with the fact that he is older, right?
Hmm.
So with this, it's the same thing. It's an action story, but I like the fact that, they show him up as an older gentleman, right? Like when you first see it, he's got like a little belly.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's not this, big buff dude, and
Like
it's like,
Terry Crews or
yeah,
something.
like it's not Denzel in the old days. But then when he starts like kicking ass, it's like, oh man, you know what I mean? So I like that aspect of it because it's like, I may be older, more mature, but doesn't matter. I'll kick your ass just the same, right?
Hmm.
And I found it kind of interesting that you kind of see it's kind of like you don't know if his mentality, if he's OCD or it's just the army, like everything is perfectly, you know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
steps that you have to go through, boom, 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 and you just do it over and over, and it's a routine, right? Because like even when he goes to see the guy and offer him the money, right?
Hmm.
Like he walks back towards the door and he
Yeah.
closes the door 3 times, and
Hmm.
then he looks at his watch, and then he looks at each person. It's just that methodical, but the repetition also, right? Of it. It's
Yeah.
like, you
No,
know,
that scene was actually really good. See, I wish all of the scenes, whether it was from the cops all the way down to like, when he's taking out the guys in the Walmart, or sorry, in the Home
yeah,
Depot, or sorry, in the Home Mart, or whatever it was called, right? But I wish they had every single scene where you could actually see through his eyes that kind of analytic thing,
yeah,
because that was kind of cool when like that one Russian hit when he starts taking out, he goes, he counts it out, and you see the flash, like the guy notices the guy at the bar with the screwdriver. He
yeah.
notices the guy's location relative with the knife and pulling it out. Like that stuff is kind of cool. Like that reminds me of that. You remember Sherlock Holmes? The scene in Sherlock
Oh
Holmes,
yeah,
he's doing that. It shows like there's a certain thought
yeah,
level
yeah.
that has to go into
Process.
fighting, and
Yeah,
that's the cool part. I just wish there was more of that in the whole entire
yeah.
movie.
Well, I think they probably didn't do it because then it would be just a little too long, right? Or they figure because you gotta remember that they're looking at who their audience is, right? So they're gonna figure with an action flick, you don't want to make it too long and drawn out because then people lose interest, right? They're catering more towards
Well,
5-second attention.
but you know what? Don't forget. Remember Antoine Fuqua? Did he not do the Didn't he do the Romeo Must Die with Jet Li and
Oh, did he?
Leah? I,
Leah?
I don't know, maybe whatever. But I'm thinking about that movie just because that's one of those fighting movies where they didn't talk about the science of like the guy thinking it through, but they actually showed like remember those like X-ray scenes where like the guy punched him in the neck and like you
Oh,
saw his vertebrae
yeah,
snap and that's how you saw him the guy die because it makes sense like when sometimes when you just watch a movie, you guy gets punched in the back of the head, and you're like, oh, okay, so he's knocked out cold. No, he actually got his neck snapped. He's dead, right? And that's the thing that comes about from that movie that you just go, wow, that is pretty impressive.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I really like that scene. Um, But I mean, I like, you know what, and yeah, where I was going, what I really, really liked about this movie is with a lot of action movies, it's all like about ass kicking, right? Like you have your hero, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that, right? But it's not like you're thinking realistically, right? So it's like you have your
Dude.
hero. No, no, what I'm saying is this, right? You have your hero, you have your damsel in distress that he's gonna save. And so he goes in and he just massacres everyone, and then he
Mhm.
walks out and he gets the girl. The thing that I like about this is that, he goes in there and he beats these guys in their Russian mafia, right? And the minute he did that, I was thinking, okay, obviously, like these guys, someone's gonna come back from these guys, from their crew, and say,
Yeah.
what the, and that's what I loved about it when this guy shows up, and it's realistically in real life you could see that happening, right? Because it's not like he just walks in, he kills these guys, and oh, the girl's free now because these guys are dead. You know what I mean? So I like that fact, and then the fact that this guy, the Russian dude coming in, like he's just as crazy too. It's not like, oh, okay, Denzel's just a top dog, so you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like he's just gonna roll over everyone because everyone else, they're thugs and they have their guns and stuff. But like when you see this guy go to town on the Irish guy in the
Mhm.
office, right? it's like it shows you like, oh crap, you know what I mean? So I like that aspect about it.
But that was just brute force. That wasn't stylized. I mean,
No,
the thing
no, it
with
wasn't
with with,
styler or
with
anything, but I mean, it wasn't like, oh, there's no one else on this level, right? It might have been brute force, but I mean, at the same time, you know, if you can still match brute force with fighting, you know what I mean? Like, other than someone who's just about, oh, I got a gun, like, there's nothing else behind that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, he's gonna dispose of them in, like, no time, right? As opposed to someone who at least is gonna be, you know, hopped up on, I'm gonna kick your ass, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, but I'm just thinking though, like you said that it's kind of realistic, but I don't like
no,
again, I don't
not
know any
like
Black
ultra
Ops people that
realistic. Not ultra realistic, but what I'm saying is, like, when you watch some action movies, like, it's like, for instance, this one, the girl's a hooker, right? He
that's
forms
not
an
uncommon.
attachment
Hmm.
with her, and then she gets beat up, so he rolls in, kicks the guy's ass, and it's end of movie. Oh, she's free because you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's not that it's ultra realistic. I'm just saying that it shows that there is a repercussion from him kicking this guy's ass. It's not just, oh, he kicked the guy's ass and the girl's free and everything's good. You know what I mean?
I think we're going to have a little bit more of this discussion when we get Matt back, when we talk about A Team, because I would like, there's so many things that were going through my mind when I was watching this movie, just thinking it's like yeah, it's like the black Liam Neeson, and then I was thinking it's like the one man A Team, because at the end when he actually finishes the movie, you see that he's actually like doing this for a
Except this
service.
movie was a lot better.
Yeah, yeah, but he's doing this for a service, right? And I still can't help but think that at no point did he ever take money for any of the stuff that he did. Like I don't know where he's getting all the money to do all the stuff. Like even to pull the $9,000 or whatever to buy, to
Yeah,
offer to the Russian mob. I don't know where he's getting his money, but it's implied that he's doing this like as a hobby or a job or
yeah.
whatever. But he's clear. This stuff costs money, right? Just to be clear about this. Um, the interesting thing to me about this whole entire movie was that it let into a lot of insights to me just how resourceful like people in Black Ops could be. Like when he was like, that it wasn't simply like when he was healing himself on the toilet with pouring the honey and stuff onto his wounds, but it was just the fact that he knew to like put the oxygen in the microwave and then they would power it back up, like all that stuff. Like that's just kind of like the
Yeah.
MacGyvering of things, which makes me go, man, I wish I could see more tricks like this so I can do this.
So I can do it.
Don't judge me by my hobbies, man.
I can know what to do when students come in.
Let's not start on that one because I just want to say that I still have an undefeated record. Thank you very much. The last Senate appeal, I just want to be thankful. I'd like to thank all my peeps for that one. I have yet to lose a Senate appeal now.
You got backup. So, anyways, I like this movie. I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Whoa!
Well, I mean, that's how solid I think this is. Just the fact, I mean, first
You're
of
not
all,
playing
it
the race card
caters
on
to
this one,
me
really?
because it's an action. Well, the thing is, it's an action movie, so that I like. It was entertaining, yes, but it still made you think. Denzel, he's one of my favorite actors, but I just think he's a good all-around actor. And it's, I judge it by thinking, okay, I watched this because we're gonna do the podcast, but would I watch it again? And I would watch it again this weekend because, like, that's how
Wow.
good it is
Damn,
to
man.
me, right? So, yeah, definitely, that's my,
See, I was worried, man, because the first time we were talking about this last week, and you were like, "Oh man, it's so slow, and I haven't gone through it all," and I was like, "Oh man, maybe he's
oh
not gonna
no,
like
it
it."
wasn't that. It was just because, like, it wasn't slow. I just didn't get through it, that's all. It
Oh,
was just
okay.
a crazy week.
Because I'm just thinking, like, admittedly, when you said that, I was like, oh man, admittedly, I think the movie was paced a little bit wrong. No, no, because I
Yeah.
mean, they spent a lot of time showing him shave
I
his
know.
head.
Yeah, at the first part, it was going really slow. Like, they'd show the diner, they'd show the girl, and it's just like,
But then, don't you think that the editing was kind of
I
choppy?
don't like it though.
Yeah, but the editing was kind of choppy because look at how the ending came so fast, and like,
Yeah,
the big, big mafia boss, all he does is just like, gets the floor wet and light and like causes him to electrocute himself. Like, it's smart. I mean, I would be tempted to do that too, but I mean. it, it's just like it's so fast, and then like at the end, like the hooker just comes and says, "Oh, I'm going on with my life," and he's like, "Great." Like it's rather anticlimactic, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, my call is that the editing was a little bit choppy. I think that the acting was pretty good for the most part. Mind you, I think it's a little bit over the top by the Russian guys. But I'm gonna give it a solid 7. Like I didn't think that you were gonna like it like a 9, but I'd give it a 7 because it's something that I'm a sucker for just vengeance movies, man. Because I'm all about vengeance. So yeah. So anyways,
All right.
that's I think that's that movie.
Yep. So next week we are going to be covering the HBO show Silicon Valley, not the reality TV show, but the actual sort of comedy show. The funny one with I knew some of their names, but anyways, it basically follows a guy who used to work at Scroogle, and he has an idea for a site where if you want to create a song, you can go to the site, put the words in, and it will search to make sure that you're not infringing on any already existing songs, and then it goes from there where he gets funded. And it's just a hilarious show. It's only been one season, and the episodes are really short, half an hour, I believe. The second season is supposed to start sometime this year. But I mean, especially for people who like tech, it's just a crazy look at startups and the whole idea of it. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but then it does actually, cater to some of the stereotypes. Some people like it, some people don't. I think it's a kind of, it's that kind of way where you're kind of not in between. Either you really don't like it or you really like it. So we'll see what these guys have to say. Hopefully, Matt will be back, and we'll catch you then.
See ya, man.